Compound interest. So when interest is calculated not only on the original principal, but also on the interest that is being earned along the way, then it is referred to as compound interest. So it's important to know how often the compounding takes place. So when you go to a bank for depositing something with compound interest, you should know whether the compounding takes place every year or it takes place every 3 months or every half year or every month. There could be different kinds of compoundings. And your interest amount will vary depending on which kind of compound interest it is. So we start with the simplest case where the time t is measured in years and the annual interest rate I is compounded once a year. So even if it's compounded, let's say 2 times a year, usually the rate that is advertised is the annual rate. So they will say that, okay, the annual rate is 10% compounded 2 times a year, or they will say annual rate is 10% compounded once a year, or annual rate is 10% compounded 4 times a year, and so on. So here we are dealing with the simplest case where the annual interest rate I is compounded once a year. That's the simplest case. So in this case, the principal P accumulates to A is equal to P times 1 plus I to the T. And let me just quickly demonstrate that why it is so. So after 1 year, it will be so since it's the interest is being compounded at a rate of I, so what that means is that after 1 year, the principal will become P times 1 plus I, because interest being compounded at a rate of I is like it's increasing, your principal is increasing at a rate of I%, and you know when you increase something at a rate of I%, then it becomes, the new amount becomes the original times 1 plus I. So this will be after 1 year. And then after 2 years, remember here we said that that in compound interest, the interest is calculated not just on the original principal, but also on the amount of interest that you earn along the way. So with the interest included, you have P times 1 plus I after 1 year. So in the second year, the interest will be calculated not just on the P, but on the whole P times 1 plus I. So when you do P times 1 plus I times 1 plus I, this is what you will have after 2 years. And then same thing in the third year, the interest will be calculated on this one, the P 1 plus I times 1 plus I, and you will get another one factor of 1 plus I on the principal, on the accumulated amount that you had after 2 years. You multiply it with another 1 plus I to calculate how much it will rise to after the third year, and so on. And now we see the pattern. After 1 year, it grows to P times 1 plus I. After 2 years, it grows to P times 1 plus I whole squared, right? This thing can be written as 1 plus I whole squared. And after 3 years, it grows to p times 1 plus I whole cube. And so it will accumulate to this much. So we can even do a, let's see if I can find how to do a dot, dot, dot. Okay, let's see. Not here. Okay, so maybe. Okay, over here. So a dot, 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 and then it would be p times 1 plus I to the power t. So after 3 years, the power of the 1 plus I is 3. After 2 years, the power of 1 plus I is 2. So after t years, it would be 1 plus I to the t. So that's how we get this compound interest formula in the case where the compounding takes place once a year. So let's look at this example. Sarah deposits $4,000 at a bank at an interest rate of 4.5% compounded annually. How many dollars will her account have after 3 years? So now we just use the formula. A is equal to P times 1 plus I to the T. So here P is 4,000. The interest rate is 4.5%. So 0.045. T is 3. And so A would be P times 1 plus I to the T equals 4,000. 1 plus 0.045 to the 3 equals 4564.66.